Hi, I'm Patricia Severino and I live in one of the best cities in the world, Toronto, Ontario.
Hey, no, no, hey, hey,
Toronto is known to be one of the most multicultural cities in the world with over 140 languages spoken here. Today, I'm going to explore the Japanese culture through ceremonies, demonstrations, and dining in a traditional Japanese setting. The Japanese make up only 20,000 people. Despite the small community, Japanese restaurants and stores are popping up everywhere around the city, and Torontonians seem to be embracing this unique culture. My first stop was the Komatari Artisan Market, where I was invited to sit in on an intimate tea class taught by Momo Yoshida, a Japanese tea sommelier. Miss Yoshida shared her knowledge on the different types of Japanese tea.
Sweet, but there's a concentrated tea taste you can get.
To bring out the flavor, I indulge in Japanese sweets known as wagashi. My favorite, of course, has to be the mochi rice cake, which is made out of glutinous rice and filled with white bean paste. Miss Yoshida moved to Toronto from Japan in 2003.
I tried to avoid just hang out with Japanese first couple years because I wanted to speak English and I wanted to learn Western culture first. And then certain point you miss home. That's another reason I start tea ceremony here. I did it in Japan.
Tea ceremonies are very important to the Japanese culture. One must put all their attention and heart into the choreographed movements. Every movement and every gesture is done with the guest in mind.
There's a hospitality there. So when I serve tea, I always wanted to be a good provider, good host to make the guests comfortable.
Miss Yoshida was a wonderful host, and I learned a lot about the importance of tea in the Japanese culture. My next stop was Kinka Izakaya. Izakaya is a Japanese term for pub where there are small dishes and plenty of alcoholic drinks. As soon as I stepped in, I was greeted by the staff. Irashimase means welcome. Here is a list of proper Japanese dining etiquette. Before the meal, it is polite to say "itadakimasu," which means I humbly receive. Bowls must be picked up and held close to your mouth when eating. Chopsticks or ohashi is always used and should never be pointed. Burping or loud chewing is considered impolite. It is polite to finish all your food up until the last grain of rice. After the meal is done, you say "gochusama," which means thank you for the meal. When drinking, it is customary to serve each other opposed to serving yourself. Wait until everyone's drink has been filled, then a cheers. In Japanese, kanpai. On my way to my last stop, I came across a popular Japanese retail store, Muji. Canadians no longer need to travel to New York, Europe, or Japan to get their Muji fix, as this flagship store is the first introduction to the brand in Canada. Muji prides itself on simplicity and minimalism, much like the Japanese culture. From simple office essentials to dining accessories to interesting home decor, there's a lot of fun, unique buys here at Muji, which is why I couldn't leave empty-handed. I purchased a sake cup or ochoko and a carafe or tukuri, fitting for my next destination. Key Modern Restaurant and Bar is the perfect place to relax and enjoy authentic Japanese cuisine, paired with Japan's national beverage, sake. Key has over 60 sake flavors, handpicked by their head sake sommelier, Michael Tremblay.
It's a very fun sake, very approachable. It's great with food, not as aromatic.
Having gone to Japan on many occasions, Michael shared his thoughts on the Japanese culture.
It's a very thoughtful society, and one of the reasons why I think many people, when they go to Japan, just fall in love with it, saying thank you. You know, there's different levels of politeness for just the word thank you. I mean, if you go to a Japanese restaurant, you'll notice a lot of places will serve sake in little cups, little ceramic cups called ochoko. And that's because of the Japanese practice or etiquette of you never pour for yourself, but you always pour for your friends, your guests, and they'll take the bottle or carafe and pour for you. It's a very giving culture.
The Japanese have such distinct traits because of what Michael referred to as Sakoku, a 150-year period of isolation where Japan closed its borders on any outside influence.
All these regions of Japan learned to diversify and to identify themselves or create an identity from one another.
Michael's insight gave me a better understanding of the Japanese culture and was the perfect way to end my journey. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.